Welcome to the Gina Bianca podcast. So I'm live here recording the podcast. I've recorded multiple podcasts and I keep deleting them because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want to add value. I want to be honest. But mostly, I want to serve the audience that follows me. So I think that the best way to do this, I have a lot of things that I want to say, and a lot of it isn't a lot of the advice I want to give isn't like hugs and kisses advice. It's like, hi. So I'm live on Instagram now. And the reason I went live is because I want you guys to ask questions. I want you guys to ask the questions of what you really want to know. And I have a template, but I would love to know what you guys are wanting to learn about and what you're actually going through. Like, where are you? What is the situation where you're at right now? Already getting some questions coming in, so that's really good. Keep the questions coming because I'm going to answer them. Awesome. Okay. So my template that I have right now is called Acts of Leadership During Difficult Times. Acts of Leadership During Difficult Times. And some of the questions that I'm getting already are, should we close down? So that's the first question I can answer for you guys. So she says, salons aren't closing here at the moment. People are asking, should I close? Should I close? What should I do? Some people are saying, our insurance won't cover us if we close down. So, all right. Now, for me, I am not the government. I'm literally, nobody knows what's going to happen. It's just a time of uncertainty. And that's what's driving people to go buy 400 rolls of toilet paper, is because they have no plan for what would actually happen. And that's why people are acting crazy. That's why the media is doing these crazy things. And we all know that this virus is a serious thing, but there's a lot of other things being said and happening and going on that are just making it way worse and way more panicking than it has to be. So I'm going to go through acts of leadership during difficult times, and I have 7 of them. And I want to answer your questions as they come. And we're going to do the entire podcast live here on Instagram Live. So if you have questions, keep them coming through. But the first question is, should we close the salon? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and you guys aren't going to like this answer. I'm going to tell you to do what your state is telling you to do. If you got a mandate to close, close. If you got a mandate to close, I would close. I would not go against what the government is telling you to do, what the CDC is telling you to do. Let's talk about the reasons we would stay open. So some of the reasons we would stay open are letting everybody down, right? That's the automatic response that people will say. I don't want to let my clients down. I don't want to let everybody down. I don't want to let anyone down. That's what everyone says. But you have to understand that you are not that important. I know, I say this all the time. We are not that important, you guys. For me to cancel events or postpone, we didn't cancel anything. I'll never cancel, but we postponed events. And for me, I was like, I don't want to let anybody down. People are looking forward to it. Is this really that serious? And it's it's not your decision to decide whether it's serious or not. You're not important enough to make that decision. You're not more important than Broadway. You're not more important than the NBA. You're not more important than all of these things. So one act of leadership is to decide I'm not going to work because either one, I don't feel okay working, right? Either I'm sick, either I feel socially irresponsible working because they're telling us to stay home. So A lot of us may not feel socially responsible. Like, I don't feel socially responsible going to yoga. I really want to go to yoga. I really want to go tanning. I really want to keep my routine going. But like, I don't feel socially responsible if I go to yoga and I'm coughing or breathing in the tanning bed, and then, or if I go tanning and I'm coughing in the tanning bed, and even though that spray kills HIV or whatever they say, do we really know? And I feel like it's socially irresponsible to go tanning. I feel like it's socially irresponsible to go to yoga. And I'm not touching anybody there. I'm not touching anybody at all. So, you know, if you feel socially irresponsible, you're going to have to make that active leadership in yourself and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable going. You know, I had stuff scheduled with Joico. I had the live scheduled with Joico, but I just traveled, and the CDC is saying if you just traveled to try to quarantine yourself. So why am I going to go with a client when I just traveled? Why am I going to walk into my salon and put my staff at risk after I just traveled? You know, I don't feel good about that. I don't feel socially responsible doing that. I don't feel like happy doing that. I feel like I am letting them down. I feel like I am letting you down, right? So an active leadership, number one, is deciding you're going to close if you're a salon owner, because that's a huge decision to make. It's a hard decision. We're going to lose money. It's going to suck for a little while, right? So one active leadership is going to be closing if you have to. I think it's a socially responsible thing to do. Our state isn't telling us to close. My renters want to work. They can work. We're being wicked fucking clean. But as soon as that thing comes in that says we have to close, I can't go against the government. I'm not bigger than them. I'm not bigger than the NBA. I'm not bigger than all of these things, right? So you got to be really fucking careful, because you saying, I don't want to let anybody down, that's all ego, you guys. That's all ego, and that is not what you need to be doing, okay? So any more questions about closing? If the government, if your insurance isn't going to cover you to close, no, I'm not going to be the person. I'm not going to tell you the government will give you assistance, because I don't know. I don't know that. Like, anybody who tells you that doesn't fucking know. Nobody knows what's like. That's why it's crazy, is because of uncertainty. Certainty is one of the biggest needs people have. And when there's uncertainty, people get fucking nuts. They get crazy. Okay? And it's like, I'm not panicking. And what you say to people, if you say like, don't panic, relax, people are going to panic and they're not going to relax, right? So I'm not going to say, don't panic, don't whatever. But like, I'm not panicking. I'm literally looking at my business to make sure that we're good, right? I'm making some decisions now that are just going to cut back our spending slightly and make sure that we always have a business. So we'll get more into it. So the next thing is, number 2, is you want to get crystal clear about where you actually are right now. Okay, so crystal clear with your business's reality. So what I did yesterday, I did my taxes recently, thank God, just did my taxes. And I have everything in front of me. Looks good, life is good. However, there's some areas of spending that we can't maintain that are non-essential spending things. That if business does slow down, if we continue spending, we could be in trouble. So I adjusted those areas, decided, hey, we're not going to be spending money on this anymore. And that's it, right? You know, it's really taking the time and being proactive to look at where you're actually at. Another thing is you want to do that for your household. I would do your household first. I would do your household before anything. I would look at all of your non-essential payments. I would look at all of your non-essential spending. I would look at, like, we just canceled cable. We don't fucking use it. We don't use it. Do you know what I mean? So now is a time for us to go through and see where we're wasting money. Okay? Because we all waste money. It's really just figuring out, like, where it is. Where is it going, right? So I would highly recommend going through, checking your automatic payments. I'm sure you subscribe to tons of hair forums. This is the point where if they add value, stay. If they don't, go. My mastermind group, I know we add value. I know that I'm always going to be there helping people get through difficult times. So, but if that doesn't add value to you, if you don't feel good about paying for it, unsubscribe from it. Get rid of the non-essential automatic payments that don't add value to you. And really make sure you know where you're at and you know how long you can survive, right? You have to know. You have to know like what your business is and where you're at actually. And now is a time where we might start looking at getting a side hustle, which is number 3. A number 3 act of leadership during difficult times is to get a part-time job or to get a hustle. Start hustling. I've been talking about this for years. I always say, go out, kill something and bring it home. I always say that. I'm like, go out, kill something, bring it home. And sometimes we have to get into survival mode, look at our business and say like, all right, shit, I'm going to have to get a part-time job. I'm going to have to bartend. I know my salon is cutting hours. I know this is happening. I'm going to have to like be proactive because I can't maintain this lifestyle. I can't feed my kids. I can't do this. I can't do that until I get an extra job. Like that's being proactive instead of not looking at anything, watching Netflix for your 2-week vacation. And then when everything comes back to normal, wondering why you're struggling. That's like not proactive at all. It's all reactive. So you have to be proactive. So active leadership number 3 is going to be being proactive on your business and making those difficult decisions. Right? Sell the things that you don't want. Get in survival mode. Sell it on Poshmark, someone just said. It's called maturity. And that's what you've got. Many lack that. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Evan, I know. I'm just going through reading comments right now. We are live on the podcast. We're live on Instagram getting some questions here. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so the next one, number 4, you're not going to like it. Number 4, acts of leadership during difficult times for salon owners is getting rid of toxic employees. And I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it because I'm going to give you a situation, okay? You're working in an employee-based salon. Times are tough. Leadership has not been where you have wanted it to be ever, okay? Leadership is just non-existent, or maybe they're trying, but it's just, you know what I'm talking about. If you have people on your team who are bringing down the team during difficult times, you're going to be fucked, you guys. If there's somebody on the team you fired 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, and they're there, you got to give them a very strong warning. You have to let the team know, hey, if times are tough and we have to make some decisions, I need everybody to have my back, okay? Firm warning, fair enough, right? But if you've got some people working really hard for you, if you've got great employees working really, really hard for you, and you have people on your team who are not, and who are bringing the team down, who are adding drama, who are toxic, who are not good fit for the team, you guys know. One of the worst things that could happen to you is if you have weak leadership during this time. If you have weak leadership during this time, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. So I just want you to know, like, an act of leadership during difficult times is getting rid of anybody who does not have your fucking back. Okay? And this isn't like walk in, fire everybody, or this isn't fire people who are sick. This isn't like come in and be a psycho. You guys know what I'm talking about. If there's somebody that has to go 6 months ago, a year ago, and you're holding on to them because of their appointment book, you guys, now is the time to rip off the Band-Aid, stop being a pussy, and be a leader, because strong leadership is going to be what holds your team together. It's not going to be money. It's not going to be the clients. It's not going to be anything else, but strong leadership is going to keep your team together. Okay. So an act of leadership would be getting rid of the people who are not on that team. Okay. It's one of the most important things And that's why I keep deleting the podcast. That's why I keep deleting it, because I'm just like, I don't want to say this right now. Like, I want to tell them to smoke weed. I want to tell them to make their own edibles. I want to tell them to have really good sex. I want to tell them to like enjoy this time off. I want to tell them to download Financial Peace University from Dave Ramsey. That's what I did. I finally have time to do Financial Peace University. I finally have time to do my Tony Robbins coaching program. I finally have time. I want to tell them to do all of this, but I know the real issue is like your business. Like, I know that you guys are worried about that. So I want to give you positivity, but I also want to give you the news that nobody wants to give you. And I want to give you the advice that people don't want to give you, or don't have time to give you, or don't give a fuck to give you. A lot of people don't want you to have that advice because they want you to learn for yourself, which I can understand because I've learned for myself. But I want to help. So the tough advice and the tough critique is what I want to give you at this point. And I'm sorry if it hurts. I'm sorry if you're like, what the fuck is she saying? But I think that strong leadership is going to be what moves you forward in this life, in difficult times and in any times. It's strong leadership. And if you could be strong now, imagine when times are normal again and shortly, right? So anyways, so if you just got here, we're on the podcast. We're recording live for the first time ever. I'm talking about the coronavirus pandemic right now. I'm talking about acts of leadership during this time. And I'm trying to, I really was having a hard time recording it by myself. I'm sitting here and I'm just having a hard time like saying what I want to say. So I decided to go live, and you guys are asking questions. I really love it. So keep asking your questions, but we're going to move into number 5, acts of leadership. The 5th act of leadership is letting go of toxic clients. So during this time, you're going to have clients, you're going to have communications with clients. Now, during this time, people will be afraid, people will be crazy, people will be moving their appointments, people will not be coming in, people will not be answering, things will happen. Now, as time moves forward, people show their true colors. And as a stylist, you have to really decide what your values are going to be moving forward, right? So I'm not telling you to thin out your entire clientele, but I'm telling you that if there are clients that put the safety of the salon at risk, if there are clients that have everyone run late and long, constant redos, constant this, constant that, constant complaints, not want to pay, now would be a good time. You guys don't need the additional stress. So if you ever needed a reason, here's a good reason to just like distance yourself from people who are not adding value to your life. And yes, if they add value to your life by paying for a haircut, cool. But if they're the type of client that loses the salon money, if they're the type of client that brings down morale, if they had to get fired 6 months ago, now is the time. If they had to get fired 6 months ago, now is the time. Okay. So let's see. Number 6, and this is super important, acts of leadership, is not panicking. Okay. I panicked when I was trying to get on a flight home. You guys saw it. I was crying. I was so scared. I literally thought I wasn't going to get on a flight because every time I went to book a flight, it was sold out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, I'm going to get stuck here. And then the news makes it look so scary. I was like, that was the one time I panicked, when I was like, am I going to get home? All right. We're moving the classes, rescheduling the classes. Am I sad? Yes. Am I devastated? Yes. Am I let down? Yes. Panicking? No, not really panicking. I'm more trying to be proactive and use my time and energy towards things that are going to move me forward instead of pull me back. Okay. So don't panic. Number 7 is serving the community in person. And I know we have social distance. But I would recommend, serving your community in any way that you possibly can. I posted on our Southington Talks group. I'm like, does anyone need support during this time? And people are like, thanks for asking. No response. I'm like, okay. My next thing is going to be kind of reaching out to people I know might be older and may not be able to get to the grocery store. So I heard Tabitha talking about this on one of her lives. That's something that I'd like to do to help the community in person. Think of ways with your team, with your loved ones, with your family to help people in the community in person, or like in your actual community. It doesn't have to be in person, but where you're actually at. Like, help your community where you are. That act of leadership is going to look really great for your salon when all of this boils over, that you were there to help. So serve your community in person. And number 8 is serve the community online. I've been wanting to post. I always want to post. I have like this obsessive need to share. And I think that need is the need for contribution. And I think it's a very special need to have if you want to be an educator. It's very like anything I learn, I try to figure out a way that I could share it easily for somebody to understand. I'm obsessed with sharing and learning and whatever. And I've wanted to share this entire time. I wanted to write something. I wanted to do something. I wanted to help people. I wanted to put out something. But I have to understand that what I say during difficult times, you got to be really careful because nobody knows what's happening, number 1. Number 2, you don't want people to panic because I see people posting in the grocery store, empty everywhere. And then that's not what we should be posting. Okay. You have to serve your online community. You have to serve the people who show up for you every day. So maybe if it's not adding value during this time, maybe don't post it. And Nina Kovner, Passion Squared, she always says, like, check your motive, check your intention. Like, what outcome am I seeking from this post? I deleted the podcast like 55 times. I was just like, I don't know what outcome I'm seeking. I want to help people, but I want to help. I just want to help, but I have to be careful about how I help, right? So when you serve your community online, you have to be careful about what you say. So I'm going to challenge you guys to add value, be kind, keep it light. If you're going to help others, contribute in Mastermind. If you're in Mastermind, any concerns that you have, we're going to make a COVID-19 tag for you guys. But in Mastermind, we already have the all of the email blasts, blog posts, anything that you guys want to use for that. And then I have all of the show notes for this podcast, which is basically 3 pages of notes for stylists, educators, salon owners, all in Mastermind for you guys. But, it's weird times. We've been here before. Like, I've lived through a recession, but not been old enough to really live through it. People are talking about business slowing down for a little while, all of the things, you guys. Worse things have happened to us as a country. Fucking God bless America. We got this. We're going to be fine. Life is good. We got to have a little bit of a dip right now in our business to try to keep everybody safe. But just remember to be proactive instead of reactive. Be proactive instead of reactive. Don't blame your life on what's going on. Do something to fix it. Do something to move forward. Don't panic. Don't stress everybody out. Be a leader. You guys got this. I'm not panicking. I feel good. I feel like, it's just a blip in the road, and I'm doing my best to utilize this free time that I've always wanted, to try to better myself and put it towards education. I did the Financial Peace University. I'm working on my Tony Robbins. You can't fucking take education away from somebody, so I'm going to spend my time spending my time doing the things I've wanted to do, right? So I hope that I could give you guys some kind of peace, some kind of advice, a hug, well, not really a hug, one of these. I hope I can offer you that, at least something. I've been wanting to share something, this whole time, but I don't want to add to any negativity at all, so be proactive. If you're taking notes, they're already in Mastermind. I love it. Good. Well, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. If you have more questions, DM me. I'm here. I'd like to create more content about this, but I need your questions. I want to answer questions that you have. So I have some questions already. I went through a lot of them here, a lot of them in Mastermind, but now I'm opening up to you guys here on Instagram. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. And be sure to follow, Nina Kovner from Passion Squared, Tabitha, Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey. These are my Lady Gaga. These are my core influences. When shit goes wrong, I look to them. Those are my core influences. When shit goes wrong, I kind of look to them. And they have kept me, it's the same things that I've learned and everything that, we've been teaching and learning for so long. And it's just yep, we're here. Let's just be proactive. So, life is good. I love you guys. A little sad about our classes getting postponed. The Tabitha class was postponed for July, but we're going to move it to 2021. Sophia Hilton did reschedule. She does not feel comfortable going on a plane. I don't blame her. Right? So we're getting all of those dates for you guys. Give us time. Everything's far enough away. Don't worry about a thing. We'll take care of everything. But we really want to wait and see what happens. We want to wait before we postpone a whole year. Let's wait and see where we are. We'll figure it out. So I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll share this podcast shortly. All right, you guys, we just went live on the Gina Bianca podcast for the first time ever. Thank you guys so much for being live with your questions. It was great to have an audience and talk about all of this. I was kind of answering questions as they came through. But, we talked about acts of leadership during a difficult time. We talked about choosing to close the salon, sitting down and getting super clear on where you actually are, letting go of toxic employees and toxic clients. We talked about not panicking. Talk about keeping shit together, serving your community in person and serving your community online. And we talked about so much more, you guys. I hope you liked this podcast. I really wanted to serve and add value, but I really want it to be around you guys. I want you guys to let me know what you want to hear. I want you to let me know what questions that you have. Message me at I am Gina Bianca on Instagram. I'm here for you always. We're going to get through all of this. It's going to be great. It's just tough times, and we're built for it. So I wish you nothing but light, love, and happiness, you and your family and your business. And I'm always here for you if you need me. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to the Gina Bianca podcast.